Okay, real talk here. It's 4 p.m. You look at your to-do list and it looks exactly like it did at 8 a.m. this morning. Those check boxes next to every single task are still unchecked. Literally nothing has been done, and you get hit with that sinking, gut-wrenching feeling of holy crap. I have wasted my entire day. You know the one that I'm talking about. And that feeling is the worst, and it hits you like an absolute freight train. And then that is whenever the spiral starts. I'm so behind, I have no discipline, I completely messed up. And then after that, what most people do is they give up. They completely write off the rest of the day. They doom scroll until their eyes are dry. They order takeout they didn't even really want anyway. And then they go to bed feeling like absolute garbage. But what if I told you that one bad day does not have to lead to that spiral? What if you could actually just rebrand the entire day? Turn it around completely in the next couple of hours so that whenever you go lay your head down on your pillow tonight, you actually feel proud of yourself and you feel like you actually accomplished something, even though it's 4 p.m. and you feel like you haven't done a single thing. That is what we are doing today. We are going to talk about how to rebrand a completely wasted day. Welcome back to your weekly girl check-in. Grab your notebooks and grab something cozy to drink. Today I actually have my water because your girl needs to hydrate. This is where we cut through the noise. We get real about the things that are holding you back, and I share what I've learned and experienced personally so that you don't have to waste the time or the energy figuring it all out the hard way. And today we are talking about something that derails people so often, especially this time of year, and that is the wasted day. By the end of this video, you're going to have a simple 5-step system that you can do anytime you have a day or a week that feels like the time just completely slipped through your fingers. It is super simple and it's going to feel like a cheat code. We're going to be covering mindset shifts, productivity resets, and self-care strategies that actually work. And if you stay until the very end, I'm gonna share the one thing that I do every single time that I have an off day that completely changes how the next day is going to go. Because a lot of times whenever people have a single wasted day or just a bad day in general, they let it bleed into the next, and it affects the next week and the next 2 weeks, and then it turns into months, and then you're looking around like, what the heck even happened? So this is the one thing that I do. I'll share at the very end to keep that from happening. So without further ado, get a sip of your cozy beverage, pick up your pen, and let's dive in. All right, step one, before we do anything else, we have got to interrupt the spiral. What's actually happening whenever you have a wasted day like this is your brain is just gonna repeat the same story and the same thoughts on a freaking loop in your head. It's thinking, I'm a mess, I'm a failure, I'm not disciplined, I'm never gonna hit my goals. And the more and more you think those thoughts, your brain is gonna go, oh, do you want more evidence of this? Oh, I'll give you the evidence to back up this story. And then you're gonna remember every goal you didn't hit. You're gonna remember every single person you saw on Instagram or TikTok that looks like they have their whole lives together. And it's going to bring up every other time that you have failed. And then before you know it, you have completely convinced yourself that you are the problem. But the truth is, and I really need you to hear me when I say this, is you are not the problem. The story that you're telling yourself is the problem. So step one is what I call the pattern interrupt. We're going to physically break this thought loop because you can't think your way out of a spiral. You have to physically move your way out of it. So here's what you're going to do if you are currently having this spiral. Stand up. I'm serious. If you are having a thought spiral right now, like what I described, I want you to stand up. I want you to walk to a different room. Go splash some cold water on your face. Go do 10 jumping jacks. Go put on a song that makes you feel like an absolute badass and just go dance to it for 30 seconds. I don't care how ridiculous you look, okay? My dance moves are not great either, but the point is that you are physically going to change the state that you're in. I'm not telling you to do this so that you look or feel silly or ridiculous. This is literally neuroscience, because whenever you change your physical state, it in turn will change your mental state. It's a way for you to tell your nervous system like, hey, we are not in danger, we're okay, all is good. This is literally about you taking back control so you can think clearly about what to do next. The next step is the identity shift, because now that we have broken the spiral, we need to reframe the whole story that we've been telling ourselves. Because the story that you told yourself about today is literally everything. You're telling yourself, I wasted the day, I'm not disciplined, I'm never gonna hit my goals. What if today just wasn't a wasted day? What if it was like a recalibration day? Maybe it was just a rest day that your body desperately needed. Maybe it was a slower day that's gonna set you up for a possible breakthrough tomorrow. As someone that is a type A personality, I would beat myself up so badly if I ever had an unproductive day. I would be at the point, and still am at times, where if I wasn't doing something productive at all times of the day, I felt guilty. And what I learned through this, the hard way obviously, was that it's not that successful people have less bad days than everybody else. It's that they don't let those days define them. They don't take those days and make it mean something about who they are. That's the problem that we have whenever we have an off day or an off week. We make it mean something so much more than it actually is. You start to identify yourself with that particular slip up. So here's the identity shift that you have to make. You are someone that has human days, learns from them, and then keeps moving forward. Say that out loud if you need to. I am someone that keeps moving forward, because that is the truth. Now at this point, I want you to grab your journal, grab your notes app, and I want you to write down one thing, just one little thing that you have learned today. Maybe you learned that you need more sleep, or maybe you've learned that scrolling first thing in the morning completely sets an awful tone for the rest of your day. Maybe you learned that you are desperately tired and you're burnt out and you need to incorporate more rest time within your schedule. There is always a lesson, and whenever you can extract the lesson, there is never a wasted day. It was research and you use it as data for the future. And that's exactly what successful people do. People who grow will treat every single experience, even the ones that they really don't want to ever think about or don't ever want to talk about, as data, not as proof that they suck. Okay, so we have interrupted the spiral, we have reframed the whole story, but this is where most people will just stop. They feel just a little bit better and then they just go start to coast. They'll just go continue to do nothing for the rest of the day. And that's a huge mistake, because if you don't take any action, even a single tiny action, your brain's not gonna believe this new story that you have reframed in your mind. You will wake up tomorrow still feeling behind and still feeling like you failed. So the next 3 steps are gonna be all about how you can take your day back with strategic action. And I'm gonna show you exactly how you can do that without overwhelming yourself or cramming 8 hours worth of work into 2 hours. So if you've ever felt like you just can't recover from a bad day, these next steps are going to change that. Let's keep going. Step 3 is the micro win. When you have a bad day, your first instinct is to just go try to make up for lost time. This is what I would normally do. I would have a coffee or some kind of caffeine at like 6 or 7 at night, just to prepare myself to stay up until midnight or 1 a.m., trying to catch up on all the things that I didn't do throughout my day. And then the next day I would wake up tired and exhausted, and it was just a horrible domino effect. Stop doing that if that is what you do. That is not going to work. I am speaking from experience. Literally, all that does is it burns you out and just proves to yourself that you can't stick to anything, and it feeds the whole I'm undisciplined story that you tried to break in the first place. What we're going to do instead is go for a micro win. This is just one small completable task you can do that proves to yourself that you showed up for yourself in some form of the way that day. And this particular task that you choose should not take any more than 15 to 30 minutes. Some examples are, if your space feels chaotic, maybe just take like 10 minutes and do a little tidy. You could even just pick one particular spot. So maybe just clean up your desk, clean up your nightstand, go clean the kitchen counter. Or if you've been avoiding a task, just go take the first step. Open the document, send the email, make the phone call, go put on your workout clothes. Whatever it is, just go start it. If it's prepping, go preheat your oven. The goal here is not to complete your entire to-do list. It's to end the day with evidence to yourself that you are the person that does still show up, even on the hard days. But the key is, whatever task this is, you absolutely have to complete it. Do not go start 3 different things and leave them all half done. Pick one thing, finish it, and you will feel so proud of yourself and you will feel so much better. That one win is going to shift your entire energy. It's gonna remind you that yes, you are capable, you are disciplined, and you are still on the right path. Step 4 is the future self setup. This is where we just stop reacting to today and start to show up for tomorrow. A bad day doesn't just affect today. If you don't handle it right, it will bleed into the next day. You'll wake up still feeling behind, you'll feel like you failed, you'll feel guilty, and the whole cycle just starts all over again. So to fix that, we are going to do what I call the future self setup. You are going to spend just 10 minutes making tomorrow easier for the version of yourself that is waking up with a fresh start. So whether that is prepping your lunch for the next day, laying out your clothes, going ahead and writing down your top 3 priorities that day so you actually have direction. This is what I call strategic self-care, because you're not just being nice to yourself, you're removing the friction. So tomorrow, whenever your motivation is low, your environment can do the heavy lifting for you. I learned this the hard way because I would wake up and just immediately have to start making 100 decisions. Where's my clothes? What am I gonna have for breakfast? What am I gonna have for lunch? Where is this? Where is that? And it was just a lot. And then by then I am so exhausted, I don't wanna do a dang thing. So now I make it a point to set up my environment the night before. And that has honestly been one of the biggest game changers in me staying consistent with my habits, with my routines, is making sure that I'm removing as much friction as possible. That way I can show up even whenever I really don't feel like it. Okay, step 5 is the conscious close. We are not gonna let this day fizzle out into a cloud of guilt scrolling until 2 a.m. We are going to close the day with intention. We are going to tell our brains that today is over and tomorrow is a fresh start. So here is your evening reset ritual, and you can just pick 1 or 2 of these. So maybe journal for 5 minutes. Just write down one thing that you're proud of from today, and then one thing that you're letting go of. Read a chapter of a real book, not your phone, but of a actual book. Do a 10-minute stretch or a meditation to release the tension and the stress that you felt throughout the day. The goal of this is to go to bed feeling calm and not feeling chaotic, so you can start tomorrow feeling light, feeling fresh, and not carrying in the guilt and the frustration from the day before. Because how you end today determines how tomorrow starts. One off day is not a failed week. A few days off are not a failed month. Literally, the only way a bad day becomes a problem is if you let it spiral into a week, a month, a few months, and then a year. But now you know how to stop that spiral so that that doesn't happen. And that is your bad day rebrand. And I promise you, if you use this system, you will never spiral from a one-off day ever again. Okay, so here's the thing I promised I would share. This is what I do every single time that I have an off day so that I make sure I'm not carrying that into the next day. I decide on my morning anchor the night before. And by that, I mean this is a non-negotiable thing that I do before I check on my phone, before I really even talk to anybody, and before I let the world get to me. This one thing has to be done. For me, it's actually kind of 2 things, and it's normally just getting in my workout and taking my coconut cold. That's literally it. It's nothing crazy, but it's something that I can control, and I know that as long as I do at least those 2 things, that I've already proven to myself that day that I am someone that shows up for myself. Because how you start your morning is going to set the tone for your entire day. And if you can start it by proving to yourself just in a small way that you are showing up for yourself, you're already winning. And that's exactly how you build a life that you're proud of. Not by being perfect, but by knowing how to recover. I want to thank you so much for being here. I really hope this video helped you out. If it did, please comment below and let me know. I read every single one of your comments and they truly mean the world to me. And if there's something you are struggling with that you'd like to see a girl check-in about, also make sure you comment that down below. And with that, thank you again for being here. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next girl check-in. Bye.